Hello, wonderful people, once again. Welcome to this session. We'll be learning about creating and managing user stories in Jira. User stories are an important part of Agile project management as they help define the requirements and deliverables of a project. In the previous videos, we went through epics and then we used Facebook as an example. Actually, for this tutorial, we are looking at Facebook and we showed what some epics or features are. As I'm still showing them right here. We have friends, feeds, groups, marketplace. All these are epics. All these are epics. And we said we want to, all these are epics. We said we want to create user stories. So for each one of these, we are going to create the user story. So three groups are actually going to build this Facebook, three teams, and we are one of the teams. We call as the team A, and we are going to build five of these. So we have already chosen our five epics or features, and then we've already entered it in our Jira, if you remember in the previous video. So let's proceed and then see which ones we actually chose. These are the ones we chose. We chose messaging, that's a messenger. We chose groups. We chose privacy settings. We chose marketplace. We chose profile. So these are epics. We are supposed to now make the user stories that will meet these epics. When you say marketplace, yeah, we have an idea what a marketplace does. People showcase what they have and people buy them. So how do we actually want it to appear? How do we want people to interact? What kind of information can people show? What are the constraints? So all these things happen. Let's go to marketplace of Facebook, see what it looks like. Yes, we are on the marketplace now. We have a whole lot of items, you know, and then we have some descriptions here. Someone is selling a bed for $100 and then give some description. Brand new bed frame with mattress available. City is Dallas, state is Texas. So all these are user stories. This one, you can show price, you can show what it is, you can show city, you can show state. It is a user story. Not only that, you come to this side, it has other buttons available. It has filters. It shows you categories, vehicle, property, rentals, classifies, electronics. When you hit on any of them, something else will come. This one gives you the filter, gives you the ability to search by price, your minimum and your maximum, and then how you want it delivered, local pickup, shipping, all these things. I mean, Facebook has them. It has apparel, it has electronics, entertainment, family, free stuff. If you want it free, you can go to Facebook and then you see a lot of free stuff that you can just go pick up. So this is a marketplace. It's just one of the features. If you actually look at this, it's like a whole e-commerce embedded in Facebook. So that's why epics are big deals. Some epics can span across multiple sprints, 1, 2, 3 sprints. It all depends, right? So our team is going to handle the marketplace as one of the epics we are going to develop. This is the marketplace. We're also going to handle privacy setting. We are going to handle profile. We are going to handle groups, messaging. We will be ranking these. So let's bring this one to number one as the marketplace. That's the first one we'll be handling. So what is the user story? User stories are simple. They are concise descriptions of a feature or functionality from the perspective of an end user or customer. They focus on the who, what, and why of a requirement rather than the technical details. So this is marketplace, but when we are going to break it down into the smallest working unit, we are not going to talk technical language on whether we are not going to talk about PHP language. We are not talking about HTML, CSS. We are not going to talk about Java. We are not going to talk about anything that is technical. We are only going to talk about how the user wants to use it and the reason, the expectation. That's why we have this format. As a user, I want to, so it's as a user, that's the persona. I want to, that's the purpose. So that is the reason or the benefit. So let's just go ahead and then create user stories for marketplace. If you want to create a user story, you can see a plus button here. It says create child issue. User story is a child to marketing, or to Epic is a child to Epic. Click on that and then it opens for you. We are going to type in here our user stories. There are many ways we can create user stories. It's not only in this place. We could also have created user stories from this button. We could also have created user stories. You remember the first one, we started from here. Okay, we could also create our user stories from the backlog. You can also create it from here. You click on Epic from here, and then you start developing from. So let's just do it from timeline. I like it because I said it's more intuitive. You click on the plus and you start entering your user stories. So let's start entering our user stories here. For the first user story, we say, as a seller, okay, I want to easily create and publish. So you see, when we went to the marketplace has a seller on there. It also has a buyer on there, and it also just has window shoppers, people who just come and they'll just be viewing. So we have to be able to create a user story for all these people. When it is a seller, what does the seller want to do? So let me just pause and enter all these user stories. Yeah. So the first user story we entered here, we entered for a seller. The next one we will enter for a buyer. Next one we will just enter for any user who goes to the marketplace. Okay, so the first one we say, as a seller, I want to easily create and publish listings for the products or services I want to sell on Facebook Marketplace. When you enter this, you hit enter, and then it will give you another space to enter the next user story. Like I said, I have them already here, so I can copy and just paste. And just copy and paste. You hit enter, you go to the next one. So I'll pause and just fill in all our user stories and then come back. We continue from here. So we have I have entered all our user stories for the marketplace. I'll also enter the user stories for messaging. We'll enter user story for profile, privacy setting. So as a buyer, I want to have the option to rate and review sellers based on my experience, helping other users make informed decisions. So you want a rating button and a description also to show up. It's only buying and selling we are doing there. We also want to be leaving some reviews, good reviews or bad reviews. As a seller, I want to be able to manage my listings, including editing, updating, and removing them from the Facebook marketplace. Yes. When I don't want my product on there, I want to be able to take it out. After I sell it, I don't want it to keep showing so that people will keep contacting me. So I should be able to take it off. As a user, I want to be able to report and flag inappropriate or fraudulent listings on the Facebook marketplace to maintain a safe and trustworthy platform. So safety issues also come in here, right? All what user story does is that it opens up for communication and proper collaboration amongst developers, product owners, stakeholders. We can all understand. It helps us understand the need of the user without making it complicated. So go ahead and then draft some good user stories to build that great product for your clients. So we are going to do same for messaging. I'll pause once again and I will fill some of these and I'll continue from here. So as you can see, we've also done for messaging Epic. We've done the user stories for that one also. What are some of the user stories we had in here? We say as a user or messenger, as a user, I want to have the ability to send and receive stickers, emojis within the messaging platform and GIFs, yes, within the messaging platform, making conversations more fun and engaging. So I don't just want to be typing ABCD, I want some emojis. Another one we had in there, as a user, I want to be able to send voice message in addition to text messages, allowing for more convenient and expressive communication. Yeah, because if you tell me you want a messenger, this is what user story session is beautiful. You want a messenger, okay? Developers can't just go ahead and develop this messenger. We have to ask questions. What exactly do you want to be doing in the messenger? And then here we hear them say we want voice notes, we want to be able to use emojis and GIFs, we want to be able to receive stickers. Someone says, as a user, I want to be able to react to specific messages with emojis or other visual indicators, allowing for quick responses and expressions of emotions. So yes, when you type a particular message, I want to respond specifically to that emoji, to that message, or I just want to add some emoji as a quick response. Thumbs up, smiling, or sweating, whichever one. Another one says, as a user, I want to be able to mute or hide specific conversations or notification alerts, temporarily ensuring privacy and reducing distractions when needed. So there are a lot of things that will come up during the user story sessions. And as a Scrum Master, you really have to be able to engage your team in such a way that everybody will feel comfortable and willing to share. The best architecture and design comes from the team. When you help the team to be able to reason from the perspective of the user, you'll be surprised the additions they can make to the product you are developing. So user story is very, very important. Someone says, as a user, I want to have the ability to search and filter my message history, making it easier to find specific conversations or past messages. This is great. Sometimes you are communicating and then you remember, yeah, you said something about aliens. So on what date and what exactly did you say? If you tend to scroll, you may never find it, but you just hit the search button in your message, you hit aliens, search, and then it takes you to all the messages that contain aliens. So on and on, you can use user story to really define what messaging means. Sometimes stakeholders don't really know what they want. So by engaging them, you kind of clarify what their needs are. So requirement session is very, 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 very important. It will help a lot in how well you can plan and in how well you can be able to develop quality, or you can be able to develop to the expectation of the user. Now we have entered our user stories for our epics. After entering these user stories, we have to enter the details for each user story. This is not detailed enough. We have to get into more details to do what we call the description and acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria, you don't want to develop anything without acceptance criteria. Yeah, that mostly brings a lot of grudge, let me put it that way, between product owners and developers. So if you're a developer, you don't want to go ahead to develop anything without acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria more or less becomes like a contract between you and your product owner. So for every user story, no matter how you understand it, you want to add description and you want to add acceptance criteria. So let's just do for one of these. If you want to get to the details of a user story, just click on that user story and then another pane will open on the right for you. So you click on this and then this opens for us. If you scroll, you can see it has these fields. It has details. It has assignee. This is where you show who you are assigning this user story to, and that person will be developing it. Reporter, it talks about whoever entered this user story here. Development, this side is got to do with synchronizing your Jira to your Git or your Bitbucket, wherever your source code is. And releases, we will talk about it. Okay, releases or versions. Labels, epic link. You know, already our epic link is marketplace. This is under marketplace, so the epic is already linked. That's why I like entering it in this timeline session and not the backlog. Priority. What is the priority of this? Is it high, medium, low? So you would also come to this per the agreement you have with your team members. And then we have more fields. Great. So this is the description side we want to come to. You click on description, add a description. Yeah, and then this opens for us what description we have for this. So let's see what the description should be like. Let me just pause and then I'll just paste it right here and read it out to you. So I've entered our description right here, and I've also entered the acceptance criteria. Let me just apply some formatting to it. I want this bold. I want this on the next line. Acceptance criteria, I want it also bold. Yes. So for this user story only, acceptance criteria and description, you would do it for every single user story. So for this one, this is what our description says. It says that currently when users make a post on Facebook, it is visible to all their friends by default. However, this user story aims to enhance the privacy setting feature, giving users more control over the visibility and accessibility of their posts. By customizing the privacy settings, users can choose specific individuals groups, or even restrict certain people from seeing their posts. This is the first description of that user story. What is the acceptance criteria? One, the user, let's go. the acceptance criteria. One, the user should be able to access the privacy settings for their post easily from the post creation interface. Two, the privacy settings should offer different options such as public, friends, friends except specific friends, and only me to cater to various privacy preferences. So yeah, you can go on and on to really get this to a more detailed criteria, right? So you don't want to start working on any user story when you do not have an acceptance criteria. In our next videos, hopefully we are going to talk about prioritization, because this is not it. After you save it right here, and after you do for all of them, right, you enter the description, you enter acceptance criteria. After you do for all these, now will be the next thing will be prioritizing your user stories. By prioritizing your user stories, I mean you together with a stakeholder or a product owner will decide on which one you should start first for every epic. So the ones you have to start first, you start pulling them to the top. Okay, you start pulling them to the top like that. It's just drag and drop. And then when you have pulled them to the top, the next thing, when you do that, we call it prioritization. There is a way to do it, a number of techniques, Moscow technique, and other techniques for prioritization. After you prioritize them, the next thing is to estimate. You'll be estimating. That's what we call backlog refinement. You'll be estimating, and then after estimating, now you move them when it is estimated, and then when it has an epic, when it's under an epic, is estimated, it has a version or a release assigned to it. It has an estimate. I've already said that one. Yeah, we call it sprint ready. Then we will start pulling our backlogs to sprint. So we will come to backlog right here. Okay, and then we will see our epics. You see our epic is right here. This is the marketplace. You hit on marketplace, you will see everything you've done. Let's change the color coding for this one. Red, we want this one. Orange, we did this one in epic session. Okay, you just click on the drop down here and you can be able to change your colors. Yeah, so when you hit on this, it changes what backlog you have here. When you hit on this, it changes it. So this is all there is about entering user stories. So from here, we will send them to sprint for sprint planning. Okay, we will make them sprint ready, and then we will do assigning developers to the various user stories. In the next session, we'll be talking about backlog refinement, where we do all these and then we push them to the sprint. That concludes our session on creating and managing user stories in Jira. User stories play a crucial role in defining and developing project requirements. So by creating user stories, adding them to the backlog, and prioritizing and estimating them using Jira, you can effectively plan and track the progress of your project. Let's meet in the subsequent tutorials as we go through backlog refinement and prioritization. If you enjoyed this, kindly hit on the subscribe button, and I see you in the next video. Thank you.